Well, guys, we're back in the studio, and as you can see, I've got my beautiful 222 Vixen Sako in front of me, and today I'm going to share a few stories about this little gun in front of us. Well, guys, I've got my beautiful 222 here, and as you guys have seen on the channel, I have done a few stories from the rifles from my gun safe, and this one is no different to the others. This one's probably got more history with me than any of those that I've shared already, as this belonged to my dad. It's licensed in my name now, and is the rifle that my dad gave me to do my first hunts with. I shot my first springbuck with this beautiful little 222 and a load more species, and I think it's time to share a few stories. Things have changed a bit over the years. When we started out hunting, nothing was suppressed, and most of our rifles now, or I should say nearly all of my rifles other than my big 5 or dangerous game rifle that I hunt with are suppressed. And the reason why we suppress them, it is just a lot of landowners only want you to hunt with suppressed rifles on their properties now. It makes you shoot more accurately because you're not worried about recoil. Not that this has any recoil. And it's just better if you're going to be using a rifle like this for varmint hunting, shooting jackals, and any other destructive animals that you can do multiple shots without making a lot of noise. So this little 222 my dad bought way back when, and if I'm not mistaken, his story, he told me he paid, I think back then it was like 120 rand for it, and he got about 100 rounds with it as well when he bought it. It is just one of those rifles that when you pick it up, it fits. And I was always super accurate with this rifle. It had a Weaver scope on it, not this Leopold that you see on it now. I've been fitted this afterwards. Didn't have a suppressor. And this is the rifle my brother and I shot our first springbuck with. So as kids growing up, we all start with pellet guns or air rifles. We're supposed to start like that. My brother and I kind of skipped that stage because we didn't have pellet guns at the time, and we went straight to a 22, and we shot a lot of what guys call rock rabbits, but they're actually not rock rabbits. It's a Hyrax. It's called a Dussie, and we cut our teeth on hunting Dussies with a little .22 Remington. And then when we upgraded to our next level of hunting, when we got to 9 years of age, my dad took us out to hunt our first springbuck. And this is the beautiful little rifle that we got to shoot with. And I've shared the story about I think it was episode 1 where hunting became a big part of my life and where my dad introduced us. And, my grandfather was an avid hunter. My uncles have been hunters. I've got uncles that are outfitters and professional hunters and cousins. So hunting is in our family. And this is the little rifle that started it both for my brother and myself. So over the years that it went by hunting, my dad only had his 30-06, which was his personal rifle, and an old 303. And the old 303 was used to hunt bush pig and warthog. It was open sight. It was like your beat-up rifle. And then he inherited a 243 from his father. So when we used to go out hunting, if we hunted bushbuck and stuff like that, I'd hunt with the 222, and my brother was going to get the 243, so that became his rifle, and my dad would shoot with his 30-06. So that's how it always went when we went on these hunts. But obviously when we went out hunting for bigger game, the 222 just wasn't enough to hunt the bigger species. So I got really accurate with this thing, and then the one day I eventually said to my dad, I'm tired of borrowing someone else's rifle, and you don't know it, and you're shooting these animals, and you're missing because you're not comfortable with the rifle. This thing I could pick up and I would shoot neck shots, head shots, eyeballs. It was just one of those rifles where it just fits. It's made for you. And I'll never forget, it was the first time, I think I was about 16 years old, 15, 16 years old, around there. And my dad said, okay, Wayne, you can take the 222. And we were hunting on our property to hunt kudu. Guys, I don't recommend this for anyone. It's not, you're not meant to do it. But I took the 222 because I was accurate, could place my shots. I was a lot older now. My brother was shooting with the 243. My dad was shooting with his 30-06. So in the morning, we were set out in our spots. And I'll never forget, there was a road and the big mountain behind us, and then like a little valley with a whole lot of aloe vera sticking out. And if any of you have visited South Africa and hunted in winter, June, July, the aloe vera plants have got these beautiful bright red or bright orange flowers on them. So I was looking with my back in the shadows like this, and this beautiful sun, was touching all these aloes, and it was all driven hunts, beater hunts. So the beaters would go in at the top of the mountain and they'd beat the mountain down. So everything that would cross, we'd get an opportunity at the animals going through the next valley, coming out on the other side. And all I heard was the hooves and stones going everywhere, and out pops a kudu cow. It jumps the road and it heads over into the other section of the property, and behind it was the most magnificent kudu bull I'd ever seen on that property. And no one had spotted it yet. So I aimed behind the ear, squeezed the shot off, and I missed the bull. And I'm like, now I'm getting so excited. I'm worried about someone else spotting the bull to shoot the bull. And I said, it was like, okay, if I'm going to make this count, I'm going to go gearbox, and I'm going to place 2-3 quick shots in that area, and that should be my bull. So the next shot sung, and I whacked him, and then I proceeded to put another 3 shots in the bull, and the bull slowly went over the top of the hill. By this stage, the other guys had spotted him, but they're further along, so they're shooting further. They fired a few shots at the bull. Someone else had shot the cow, but the bull just disappeared over the little hill. I'll never forget, my dad comes in, he goes, what are you shooting? I said, Dad, I've shot the most beautiful kudu bull. Big black neck, black face bull. I'm like so excited to tell him. And I was like, but I'm scared it's going to get away. It's just gone over the hill there. And we went there with another buddy of my dad. Sadly, he passed away recently, Uncle Kevin. And he was with me and he was helping me track. And my tracker who used to track for me, his dad was with us as well. Part of the family, he'd been there. So he was on the track. And the kudu bull, we found him just over the next ledge, bedded down, and we bumped him. And Uncle Kevin, he managed to put the finishing shot on him, and I'd shot myself a beautiful, beautiful kudu bull. As I say, guys, I don't, advocate anyone do this. I've never done it again, because after this, I got myself a 30-06 and a 270 and the calibers that are correct for doing this. But this little rifle has been one of those go-tos, pinpoint shooting rifles. We've had a lot of landowners contact us to come out and shoot jackal. This is my go-to. It's super accurate, does the job. I've shot a bunch of jackal with this. Another great species that I've hunted with this was up in the Tarkastad Mountains with a buddy of ours called Bean, or his nickname is Bean. His name is Mr. Rowan Phillips. And I took this up here, and it was what a cracker of a little rifle to shoot mountain reedbuck. You get those, slightly more open area. It's flat shooting, and it takes that down beautifully. The other thing that I took with this rifle was another first species for me was a bushbuck. But unfortunately, I couldn't claim the bushbuck on this hunt because there were multiple. So these hunts that I'm telling you guys about is normally all these driven hunts, dogs behind. You get placed out in areas and you're looking at spots, and guys tend to shoot across zones. So you can sometimes end up shooting at the same animal as someone else. So because my dad would invite a bunch of guys to come on his hunt, and this is how it used to work back in the day, you'd be invited to their hunts. So other landowners would invite you to their hunts. So we were invited to a bushbuck hunt, and I shot my first bushbuck ram with this. But at the same time, someone else shot it from where he was, and there were two holes in the thing. One was my shot, one was his shot, and at the end of the day, it was who hit it first. And unfortunately, I never got to, take that ram. But I'm sure to this day, I was still the one who smoked it before his slow 308 bullet got to where my 222 bullet got. So I shot my first bushbuck with this, and we shot loads of mountain reedbuck with it. It's taken loads of wild cattle, guys. So my dad bought this to shoot bushbuck and all that stuff. But back in the day, when he was working with one of his cousins, and they used to trade a lot of cattle back in the day, and they used to buy cattle in these remote areas where the cattle were wild, and he used to take this with to go shoot the wild cattle. So this thing has shot a bunch of wild cows, being super accurate headshots. So my dad always used to take that. And then when you have problem animals in alfalfa fields and stuff like that, and you've got the correct permits, this has shot a lot of problem animals in fields. So landowners would get us out and we'd shoot darkers in chicory fields or alfalfa fields, that type of thing. We've used it for a lot for that. And my dad back in the day, they had to shoot a lot of kudu. So he used this to cull kudu at night when you get permits to shoot kudu at night. It's just a small caliber. You're shooting 30, 40 yards. It's absolutely pin perfect to do those headshots. Loads of impala. I can't even think what this hasn't shot. This has shot bush pig. It's shot warthog. I've shot one of my biggest warthogs with this. Yeah, it's just a great all-round little sharp shooting rifle, and I'm super excited to have it in my name now, and it's something that becomes a bit of an heirloom, a tradition. So I got it from my dad. I'll leave it to my daughter. Hopefully she becomes an avid hunter, and if she has any kids, hopefully way long before, after I'm dead, hopefully they avid hunters, and we keep the cycle going by passing these beautiful, beautiful rifles down the line. So guys, if you're enjoying these stories, it's just a short, sweet story, rifle from my safe, and tune in for the next one. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll catch you in the next one. Cheers, guys.